Hello, I'm Tim Gillis. I sell screws for a living. I've done this for 28 years. When I first started selling screws, I was embarrassed to tell people because when I first started, I was this young guy and I thought I was cool, and I thought that screws were not. But that wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't to sell screws for 28 years. The plan was to be great, whatever that looked like. When I was a young man, starting my career, I wanted to be great. Great at something, great at anything, really, just really, really great. But I had a problem. I had no idea what greatness looked like. I had this vague image in my mind that I would know that I achieved greatness when I walked into rooms and people would whisper and they'd say, "There goes someone great. Do you know what he created?" So I went in search of this thing called greatness. I started with art school. What better place to find greatness? And I fell in love there. Sure enough, I graduated, and with no greater understanding of what greatness looked like, and certainly no one whispering about what I had accomplished. And so, with portfolio in hand, I moved to God's country, the Grand Canyon of Manhattan, and I worked in advertising. And I fell in love again, because what better place to find greatness than New York City? And I imagined that I would rise to the level of this great art director, and I would do Nike commercials, and I'd work with Spike Lee. But I told myself I would get all that greatness stuff tomorrow. Today, I had to find a way to pay the rent. And I paid the rent by doing art direction during the day and freelance at night. And one of my freelance accounts was this quirky little screw company in Western Massachusetts, where I grew up. It was called Olympic Fasteners. Now, right about this time, I left New York City once again. No clearer understanding what greatness looked like. And once again, no one whispering about what I accomplished. And I started working at Olympic Fasteners. And the strangest thing happened. I fell in love because there was something great there. I fell in love with Art and Esther Jacobson, the owners of the company. I fell in love with Tom Wagner, who set goals just outside of my reach. I fell in love with the fact that I worked for a manufacturer. We made screws. Screws are made on these machines that are so big and so loud and so strong that they can force their will onto steel. But they are run by men and women who are even stronger because they can control those machines. And I fell in love with all of that, but I fell in hate too. I fell in hate with the fact that I felt I failed, that I had to say goodbye. Goodbye to the Grand Canyon of Manhattan. Goodbye to this pursuit of greatness. Goodbye to Spike Lee. I'd exchanged the rush of Fifth Avenue for the endless pounding of these machines. I'd exchanged my coworkers in New York City who were so proud of themselves for learning French in college for my new coworkers, many of whom embarrassed by their English. My English is not so good, they'd say. Yeah, not as good as the 1 or 2 or 3 languages they learned in the country where they were born, the country that they left to come here to find a way to pay the rent. In New York City, my coworkers and I, we worked so hard to be notable. Now, my coworkers are recognized as being essential. Essential to make screws, essential to pack screws, essential to ship screws, essential to sell screws, essential to take care of our customers, all while wearing a mask to take care of ourselves and the men and women around us. So it is now ironic that it's me walking into rooms and whispering, "There goes someone great." Do you know what he did? He created a company that puts safety and respect above all else. She created teams that have fun together. They created products that changed the way buildings are built. He drove 1 million miles safely. They taught sales professionals to put the interests of their customers first. And those men and women right there, standing next to their machines for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, for years, going home each night dead tired, took care of their family, put their kids through college, found a way to pay the rent. They created 1 billion fasteners so that I could sell screws for a living. Yeah, when I was a young man, I wanted to be great. Great at something. Great at anything, really, just really great. I have no idea if I've achieved that. It is not important to me anymore. But at least now, when I look at the men and women that I work with, those who turn individuals into teams, those who turn wire into screws, those who are essential, at least now, I know what greatness looks like.